Jai Hind doston, good evening everyone. I'm Major Mohammed Ali Shah. I am going to be in conversation with a very, very proud Manipuri, a person who has served the nation, who has risked his life on several occasions to safeguard our nation. He's been a military aviator from the Indian Air Force. He's now working with a commercial airline, and he is going to tell us what, according to him, is the way forward to bring in peace in a beautiful state like Manipur with beautiful people over there. Sir, Jai Hind, sir, and thank you very much for taking your time, sir.
Okay. Jai Hind to you too, and Jai Hind to all the viewers of this channel. And it is indeed my pleasure or privilege to be here in this channel with you, Major Ali. And I really thank for your initiative to call me and then take the opportunity to give this kind of an interview. Thank you very much. Okay. Uh, Coming back to your question, okay. Like you asked me that it is a way forward, right? Can you please let me know the question once again?
Sir, what, according to you, could be the way forward to bring in peace in Manipur? I know a lot of damage has been done from both the sides, sir. From there's a lot of venom, a lot of poison, a lot of hatred has been spread, and both the communities cannot see eye to eye. Unfortunately, I wish that was not the case at all, because I think the Maitis are wonderful people, the Cookies are wonderful people, the Nagas are wonderful people, and you have lived together for so many years together, sir. And now, all of a sudden, when this violence comes in, it's very, very distressing, especially for a person like me, who you or many people would regard him as a Mayank. But you know my affinity towards Manipur, sir. You know my attachment and my bonding and my interest and how much I love the place. So, what, according to you, could be the way forward to bring in peace, sir?
Okay. That's a very apt question at this moment of time. Okay, but if you allow me, before I answer direct to your question, I will let the viewers know the way I am going to explain the answer. I will start with a little bit of, okay, but first disclaimer is that I'm not going to go in deep into the statistics or any other documents also, but I will speak as a common man, like what I feel about the situation. Okay, and I will talk a little bit about the history not in the history of this event, the history of me as a common man, and what do I feel as a common man, and as a common man, what is my opinion in order to solve this problem. If this is okay with you, then I will go ahead with that. Okay.
So, please, sir.
Okay, as you said rightly that you have a very fond memories about Manipur. I do have a good memories or fond memories, okay, of Manipur. For example, if I was telling you that as far as my history goes back, okay, uh, I have lived in Imphal throughout my life till the time I graduated. Okay, starting from my school days, I have had a lot of interaction with lot many peoples. But however, in my school days, the association was limited to a particular local, right? Isn't it? You know how the schooling is done. It is limited to a certain area or a place. So I do have many my friends. But as I finished my 10th, as you know that in Manipur the colleges starts from class 11 onward, right? So that I will term it as a college. Okay, when I stepped into college, from class 11 onward, in the college there are various people from various communities who come from, let's say, Ukhrul, Churachandpur, Tamenglong, Tengnoupal, and they all become my classmates, right? And I do had a lot of good interaction with them. I will not call it as an interaction. I would say that it's an emotional connect with all those peoples. Basically, all my friends. Okay, basically, since they are from far off places, all my friends. Okay, I'm at this moment of time when I say all my friends, I'm at this moment I'm disengaging my Meitei friends because I'm going to talk the relationship between me and the other people, other communities of Manipur. So. Since they are from the far off places, they used to stay on a rented accommodation, and they used to cook for themselves and then attend the college. And sometimes people do get a little bit of laziness or whatever, miss cooking and all. So in all those times, like they used to come to my place after the college, and we used to have lunch or dinner together at my place. And I still recollect some of the phrases what they use when they have lunch at my place. Is that my father has got three brothers, and we all stay not in a joint family, or we stay together in one house, two house, in adjacent houses. So one good thing what we used to have always is that whatever you cook, like for example, you and me are our cousins, like whatever you it's cooked at your home comes to me and comes to my home, and whatever it is cooked to my place goes to you. So on a single day, when we have the food or lunch or dinner, I used to have about 6 to 7 dishes all the time. So when this cookie friends or naga friends, when I they visit my place and have lunch or dinner at my place, they used to ask me, Suraj, like, how come you always have so many dishes at your home? Okay, then I used to explain the entire thing, and they used to relish the food, and that's how I grew up in my school days or in my college days till the time I have finished my graduation and come to join the Indian Air Force. That's like what, as you said, that we used to live. You used to live together with love and harmony. Like from then. In our childhood, we used to see a lot of disturbance, as well as we used to see a lot of like, as you know, that it is affected by the insurgency, and we used to actually live, we had to live that with that. But post the insurgency phase, there comes a time about 5 6 years or maybe 10 years, okay, from past, the insurgency problem have died down in Manipur, and we have developed. The present situation is that we have developed. Our tourism had flourished, and lot many people used to visit Manipur, and we used to feel proud, like. To be a Manipuri, like if you want to go, okay, you have already visited Manipur as an army officer. But if I interact with my friends out there, I used to call them on invitation to visit Manipur, and it was a flourishing, a day, a progressive Manipur had come up. All of us have seen the progressive Manipur recently. If you recollect the Miss India, Femina Miss India happened there, and a lot of tourists, and it was a quite a good vibes was started coming to Manipur. And if you see the internal tourists also, as a Meitei, okay, we started going to all those hilly areas and then started exploring things. And there in the hilly areas, those places where we visit are the Kuki community villages or Naga community villages, and they used to welcome us, okay, with a lot of happiness and the pride to show their own uh, the local this one, the beauty of the nature, okay. And in turn, those villagers, okay, also have started earning what we call it the income from the tourism, right, isn't it? So there was a mutual harmony between us, that we go visit them, they come and visit us, and it was a kind of a cordial relationship what we had. But unfortunately, that event had happened, okay, on the 3rd of May. And before that, I believe it was cooking up. Okay, so that from my childhood days, the present situation, when I go there, yeah, I had been to Imphal a couple of times, okay, in the recent past. And it was, okay, I have seen the news, and it was shocking news for me when I watched those news back on 3rd of May, 4th of May, and hence. But when you have to go literally there on ground and see and visit those displaced people. Okay, unfortunately, I wasn't able to visit across the other community because of the tension, as you know that. But when I spoke to the people who are on this side, on the Meitei side of the family, uh, it is miserable. Like it is actually really heart touching. Okay, those people who have left their home and come back to those relief center, and they still think or they still dream of going back to their home, but it's no more, it's not there anymore, you know, it's not there anymore. And if, as you know that in the village, there's not in Manipur, the socio-economic condition is not so good, that if I lost everything which I have, then my future is like, it's a kind of a dark screen ahead of me. for those villages. I think you will be able to appreciate what I say now. Uh, s- so now I see the hope in their eyes when I talk to them that one day we will be able to go there. When we talk about how will you re-establish yourself in your own valley, then I could literally see the tears falling on their eyes. That it's a blank for them. Like I would like to go there, but how do I establish? That's the time they break down and they start crying. You know, and as you know that staying in a relief camp and staying in a home. Okay, home is a home. Home sweet home we call it. So they have been looked after by by the society, and the government relief is there. Okay, and in Manipur, one good thing about is that whenever we face any kind of a crisis, it's the community who comes first. Okay, the club or the Laikai, the Maida Paibi, okay, all get together and try to help out each other. That's the beauty about Manipur, and I have seen that side of the Meitei side. But however, uh, I got to know from friends and my contacts that uh, it is even worse in the hilly areas. Okay, in the plain areas, it is affected by the blockade in the highways. So the price rise is still there, but the thing is, those commercial communities, okay, the business communities are also sensible enough not to inflate the price. But the price rise is primarily because the supply is less, but the demand is still the same. So price rise is there. We face a little bit of price rise in that. But however, if you talk to the hills, okay, some of the major towns like Surajkumar, like Kangpokpi district, they are connected to the highways. Like Surajkumar is connected through Mizoram, and whereas the Kangpokpi is connected to through Nagaland. Those people, even though they are displaced out there, they still have some access of the food and the daily requirements. But imagine those villages, or okay, I'm talking about the cookie villages who are not well connected to these two highways. Okay, they are also suffering a lot. I know that, and everyone is suffering. Like in this present crisis, except some of the people who has got vested interest in this, everybody, all the common men, irrespective of whether he is a Meitei or he is a Kuki or he is a Naga or any other Mar, and you name any tribe, the common men are the one who are suffering it. And it is evident, and when I talk to them, it is evident. And I could actually, when I recollect those, even when I talk to them, it's actually I have goosebumps in me now. Okay, now after having said about how I've spent my days, what is the present situation? Since you ask me now, I will come to uh, your question. Like uh, we have a problem, and everyone knows that. Okay, I will not go to the problem, and is like I have watched a couple of interviews. I think almost all the interviews you have conducted in your channel, as well as all the other interviews which are have been done in other channels. Because for the past about 3-4 months, okay, I have been watching, following all the channels which talks about Manipur, right? Starting from the media, the mainstream media, to the YouTube, to Manipur media. And at this moment of time, I will not talk about any statistics and how it started, okay, and who is to be blamed, okay, who started first. The moment you started talking, like I will speak about my opinion looking at one side of it. And if someone you call, some friend of cookie friend you call, okay, they will speak about their own vision in their side. So at this moment of time, considering I'm gonna talk about considering the humanity as such, I'll talk about the problem and my vision about how to solve the problem. So first of all, when we talk about uh, the problem is a multi-pronged. The problem is multi-pronged. So if we talk about how to solve a problem, how, I need to first find out what are the problems because of which we are suffering right now. Isn't it? What are the root cause of these problems? So if I can find
Correct.
out the root cause of these problems, then I will be able to
Correct.
help out the people.
There seems to be a network error, so your video has got paused. But until then, you are right in saying that before we solve a problem, we need to identify the problem. Before a doctor cure the patient, he should know what the problem is, what the ailment is, what the illness is. Only then the doctor can prescribe medicines. Anyhow, I hope to be back with Wing Commander Suraj sir any moment now. Hopefully, his network should get all right. But yes, I think we really need some sane voices of neutral people. We have to bring about peace at any cost. That should be the nation's first priority. That's what I personally feel. And I love the Maitis, I love the Cookies, I love the Nagas, in fact. And thankfully, they're out of this problem. And so, anyway, he's logged out due to some network error. But hopefully, he should log back in. Yes, I think I can see him. He's logging back in. Let me admit him.
Okay.
Yes, yes, sir. Your
Sorry, I
network
think
had played out.
there was some problem with the internet. So as I was telling that, first of all, we need to identify what the problem is and what is the root cause of the problem. Okay. When I say the root cause of the problem, okay, uh, the problem, I need to talk about who are the sufferers in this problem. So the sufferers are the common men. I will speak with the common man's vision that uh, all this solution which I am going to be narrating, okay, will involve the common man. So first of all, I need to convince the common man that this is the problem and that this is the root cause of the problem. In order to solve this problem, we need to take these steps to solve the problem. And after having seen all these video channels, many interviews, mainstream media, Manipur media, and all the YouTube and other video circulations, what I could gather, okay, are the following problems. The first of all, the problem, okay, is that we had a long history. Manipur has got a long history. In that history, we also know that we have got a pre-British era history and the post-British era history. Okay, if we talk about the pre-British era history, as all of you have been talking about, that we have got more than 2,000 years of history of Manipur. You talk about the Chaitarol, Kumaba, and other things, wherein there was no division. There was no division as such is in terms of administration, okay, about the plains as well as the hills. There was no division. It was under one king, wherein under his rule, okay, the plain people were also treated equally, and the hill people were also treated equally. When I say the hill people, they may be Nagas or Kukis, any other tribe. They were okay. So when I say this treated equally, some people may object to that. Okay, basically because okay, plains is a slightly developed area and the hills is far less developed. Okay, when I have to justify this far less developed and the developed areas, now let's have a comparison between Delhi and Manipur or in Imphal. Okay, so Delhi, if you compare with Imphal, then I cannot compare Delhi with Imphal, isn't it? It is the population concentration where the maximum population concentration is there. There will be development, more development. Okay, if you compare with to a remote, that's why we call it a remote places. Okay, there has been a difference. There is no denial about that. But the thing is, it depends upon the population density. Because of this, also there was some kind of animosity which was created that okay, you only take care of the valley people and you are not taking care of the hilly people. Okay, that animosity was there. But in order to solve this kind of a problem, okay, what I feel that some people again community will object that we'll have to come back to the pre-British era where there was no divide between the Meitei, the Kuki, the Naga, and Manipur belongs to each and every one of us. It belongs to all of us. Uh, okay, if I look in the Meitei vision, it is a very, very myopic vision, right? Isn't it? If someone has to look at the cookie kind of a point of view, it is a very myopic vision. If I have to take an example, if you ask me today, okay, if anyone asks me today, they will ask me, okay, where are you from? The standard answer is I'm from Manipur, right? This is what you have experienced. Hello, Mr. Major Ali.
Yes, yes, sir. Sir,
Okay.
you are making a lot of sense, and I love when you said that Manipur belongs to everyone who are
Mhm.
there. That's very, very rightly said by you, sir. I like that. I really, really like that. So, what can be done? I mean, what do you think? It's all. why is it? Why after 4 months, what do you perceive? Why is the violence not subsiding? Why is the fire brigade not yet reached the place where the fire is to be doused?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. Okay. I will continue with my explanation. But I will ask you that question that when I'm out of Manipur, when you ask me, I will say that I'm from Manipur, right? And the moment I go to a foreign land, okay, where are you from? I'm from India, right? So in India, that time I don't differentiate. Okay, you are from UP or you're from Bihar, you're from Manipur. Like vision expands, isn't it? Okay, when you go out, the vision expands. As a defense personnel, for me, I'm an Indian, so I don't have make out any difference between a person from UP or a Bihar. When someone asks me, I'm an Indian. Okay, like after that, it's like kind of a postal address. From which part of India you are? I'm from Manipur. Which part of Manipur you are from? You're from Imphal. Which part of Manipur Imphal you are from? So I give it the Laikai. So whether you belong to a community, this community or that community, it's like a kind of a zip code or a postal address. Otherwise, as far as I'm concerned, I'm an Indian, isn't it? So that is what, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a Manipuri. So now let us stop looking at that myopic vision that I'm a Meitei, I'm a Kuki, I'm a Naga, I'm a Mar, I'm a Maring, isn't it? All of us are brothers and sisters, and all of us belong to the same state. As of now, I'll talk about the state, and all of us are, I would say that Manipuris. That kind of a thing needs to be convinced or to be communicated to people, and we'll have to tell them that we are the same people and we belong to the same place. Okay. So as far as the start of the problem, when I say that we are the same, okay, the when did the problem started? Because of the High Court order, isn't it? In that, okay, for the past so many years, that the post-British era and the post-British era, there was a divide which has started. The hill people, the tribal people, the plain people, the common people, right? Isn't it? I've been compared to the people who are in the Gangetic plains, right? Isn't it? If you talk about the facilities which I had when I was in college, and when you talk about those people who are in the Gangetic plains, there is a vast difference in the opportunities which I had and the vast difference in the exposure which I had when I was in college. For example, if I have to take my how I came to the defense forces is that okay, even though I have not flung or failed in any classes, I when I joined the Air Force, I am 1.5 years behind my course mates, classmates. Like why? Basically, in Manipur that time, if I it was 2 years of +2 and the 3 years of graduation. It used to have to take about 5 years precisely. But when I finished my graduation, I passed my matriculation in 86 and finished my graduation in 92. It took me 6.5 years. So when I applied for my SSB, it was the first and the last chance for me. Luckily, I got selected for that. So that's how we lost out on the opportunities when I have to compare myself with the mainland. If you remember, when I was a child and I had to give the NDA exam or the CDS examination, my application form, the extra 1 week was given for postal delay. Even if even if I want to read the newspaper, the mainland newspaper, I cannot read the mainland newspaper in the morning as everyone reads it here, because I have to wait for the Kolkata flight to land, and I have to subscribe to that, read the newspaper in the afternoon. So that's the difference. Okay. Similarly, so post I was talking about that post British era, we had divided in the valley and the plain, and then I cannot go and settle down to their hilly areas, but they have been allowed. So there is a difference. So that quota system was given. But when we talk about the quota system, the main projection came up from the, as I foresee that, but the quota system. Okay, like let us say that in Manipur, okay, all of us are equal. Okay, if they are worried about the quota system, let's divide it like among, like जैसे कि हमारा parental ancestral property हम divide करते हैं. Okay, हमारा 100% है, कुकी इतना 25% है, नगा 25% है, isn't it? Or Manipuri Pangal itna percentage hai, and the mainland people who are residing, that is like Punjabis and Bengalis and Marwaris, itna hai, sabke liye alag alag quota de do. And let's be fair, let's kind of redistribute the system, okay, by population wise also, then it should be fair. But when we want to get out and compete with the mainland people, then we will have the fair opportunity, a fair chance to compete. But as of now, as a general person, as a Maite, you do not have that kind of opportunity. So it is very, very important to bring back all of us together into pre-British era where everybody was treated equally, so that all of us get the same opportunity. If we keep fighting amongst each other, then all of us lose out. I'm also losing out. They are also losing out. That is first. The second point is that, okay, it is a maybe a little controversial, but what I have read and what I have seen in the interviews, that the long-term aim of the Cookiezo community to form a separate country which is known as a Cookie land, by carving out some portions from Myanmar, some parts of Manipur, some parts of Nagaland, some parts of Mizoram, and some parts of Bangladesh. Isn't that's a long-term vision? But if you ask the common man, they do not know that this kind of a vision is there. This kind of a vision is limited to a certain elite group. Am I right when I say this? Certain elite group who are politically motivated. So if I ask a common man who is working on a field, okay, who has to come down to that stream to fetch a bucket of water for to cook their meals, they are not interested in this. So we must convince those people that India today is the fifth largest economy in the world, and we are the fastest growing country as far as the economy is concerned. And with our government's new policy, that look is policy, there are a lot of things which are happening on ground itself. So let me ask them, or you ask them, that whether you want to be part of a new formatted country, or you want to be part of the globally leading country, that is India, right? Major
Right.
Ali? So if they are
I'm getting you, sir.
yeah,
Sir.
so if they are a part of the world fastest growing economy and the fifth largest economy with the look is policy, they are always better placed. They will get opportunities, like the way we had the Femina Miss India, where a lot of tourists came down and everybody benefited. Even, am I right? So if they do be a part of India, okay, and always they will be much benefited. That needs to be convinced to the Aam Admi or the common people. Then they will not support the idea of a greater this thing. So if you do not have any followers, there will be no leaders to propagate this. Okay. The third problem which I foresee is the drug problem. Many people have talked about the problem of the drug. Okay. Again, the Aam Admi. In this drug cartel, who are the beneficiaries? All those elite people are the beneficiaries. As far as our local villagers are concerned, they are as good as one of those local Delhi laborers. They go to the field, scrap their poppy seeds, take out the latex out of that, and they give it to the masters, and they get their daily wages. I do not know how much do they get it, but they are the same. Whether their poppy plantation is there or not, the beneficiaries are not the common man. The beneficiaries are those elite people. So when we finish, okay, people talk about the finishing the poppy cultivation. We have to give an alternate earning source for those common men who are earning the daily wages through this poppy cultivation. The government of India should consider that rehabilitation program for those farmers, okay, for those workers who are suffering now also, and for the petty small sum of amount for which they work for. Then I'll not elaborate on that. The next is that, okay, I will answer your question with this next problem also, the external influence. Okay, when we talk about it, okay, as India is growing up, and as you know that we have got a disturbed neighbors in the west and a disturbed neighbors in the north, and we have a disturbed neighbors in the east also. But okay, so any unrest which happens in India, it's a favorable situation for them. So they will try to
Mm.
pump in their money, they will try to pump in the weapons so that the situation or the India does not develop. Isn't it? If you talk about, I have heard the news yesterday that okay, the China's growth path is 4.8 or something. India's growth path is 7.2. We are actually doing better as far as the growth is concerned, but which they don't want it to happen. Am I right? If they don't want to happen it, then what will they do? They will start creating internal problem in India so that India concentrates more to solve the internal problems, and we lag behind them. So external influence is there. Coming to your question specifically, the second question, we have called the fire brigade and the fire brigade is not there. Okay. In my opinion, The problem started. I'm relating with this with the external influence. This problem started when the summit was there on at Goa. Am I right? Where all the leaders of the whole world were gathering, not whole world, okay, were gathering at Goa. At Goa, that is the right time to actually put a black mark on India. Am I right? When the world leaders are there, okay, this is happening in India. This is the human right violation is happening. There is another unrest happening. This is there to put a black mark on India. And as all of us are aware that the G20 summit is going to happen in day after tomorrow. Am I right? And the whole thing is starting. So we had the problem of this crossfiring, which was died down luckily for some time, for about 15-20 days. And when the G20 is in the next in our doorstep, this fresh violence has erupted from the hills of Manipur in the Bisnupur district, where those farmers who were going to their farmland were shot. And in that incident, 15, 16 people were injured, and the two of them have died. It is just 2-3 days before the G20. So I have my doubt in my mind that someone outside the country is putting the chavi that these incidents are going to happen. That let's give them another spark so that we actually paint India black. So why the fire brigade is not attending? Even if the government wants, in my opinion, the fire brigade or the government wants, okay, any day they want to solve this problem, 65,000 troops is a lot of a lot, isn't it? If we have to fight a war with one of our neighbor, okay, then 65,000 will be able to handle this. Okay, alone 65,000. But why? Probably, what in my opinion, probably the government of India may be waiting for the G20 thing to be over. Okay, over what they have done. They have done the transient solution. They have marked up the buffer zone. Okay, wherein okay the hill people are remains in the hill and the plain people remains in the plain, and by and large the violence have been controlled. Okay, except some sporadic violence. So they have created a buffer zone, because of which there is a reduction in the violence. Okay, now if the government of India acts what will they'll have to use the force. If they use the force, then both the communities will be hurt. Okay, whether it's a Mehdi community or the Cookie community, both of them will be hurt, because Indian army or the Indian military or the Indian the paramilitary has to deal with too many weapons which are there in both the sides. When they have to take any kind of a decision, it is going to be a probably an armed decision. So when an armed decision or the armed solution is there, there will be some attrition. Okay, that India probably does not want to project in front of all these world leaders that we are doing something which is against the human rights. Probably what I foresee is that the fire brigade may come after this G20 summit. That's what I believe. My hope is that if it is the case.
Sir,
A lot of experts have talked
let's
about. Yes, go ahead, please.
let's hope the fire brigade arrives soon, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
and thank you so much for sharing your insights. Sir, before your ideas of getting peace in a beautiful state like Manipur with beautiful people around, sir, what is your last message if I have to ask you? Is there any last message you would like to just throw out in the universe? Any, because you never know how universe conspires sometimes, for making things happen. Whatever you wish might just catch some frequency somewhere, and the wish many times comes true. So, is there a last message you would like to give to our viewers before we let you go, sir?
Okay, last thing which I want to give is to you, because you are the one who is forming a platform. Okay, who can communicate with both the communities. I cannot, if even if I want to communicate with all the communities, okay, I cannot communicate, and it is you who can communicate, isn't it right? So through the media, okay, like you are also part of the media. When I speak, okay, media handling, when the media handlers, okay, try to convince these people the message what we are trying to say, that okay, with violence, nothing is gonna come up. For example, if we fight a war, nobody fights a war these wants to fight a war these days, because if I fight a war, whether I win the war or whether I lose a war, I lose it economically. I lose lot many people. Okay, both the countries, where who is the winner or who is the loser, both the countries will be shattered. Similarly, if we keep fighting, that is Manipuris, Meiteis, and the Cookies and Nagas, if we keep fighting, who are the sufferers, who are the losers? As a Meitei, I'll be loser. As a Cookie, they will be losers. As a Naga, they will be losers. So everyone who is a Manipuri is a loser. So instead of fighting, we will must remember what we have learned in our childhood days. एक उंगली में ताकत नहीं है. We will all come together to form a fist so that we all grow together. That's what I want to say through you as a media person. So since we have got
Sir,
the communication.
you have answered it so beautifully well. That fist, all five fingers are different, but then when we put them together, we form a fist. My goodness, I mean, I couldn't have thought of anyone putting it in a better way than this. So thank you so much for your time and for your ideas. And I really hope and pray sincerely to the Lord Almighty that peace must prevail in Manipur at any cost, sir. Truly grateful to you for taking your time, sir, and hearing your such mature views from you. Thank you very much, sir. Jai Hind,
Thank
sir.
you, thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Hind.